أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I have written a work and it is very important for it answers a number of questions which may appear in or may be conceived by mind. So I will put this on a table or on a place and then try to read it. The word for Injil in Greek is Evangelion. The word "en" means good and "euangelion" means message or announcement. The word for it in English is gospel. The German word for it is Evangelium or Evangelium. For example, the gospel according to Matthew is Evangelium des nach Matthäus in German. My pronunciation of German is not correct, so it may be inaccurate. The Greek word Evangelion is used many times in New Testament, the second part of Christian Bible. The word gospel or Evangelium is often used for the first 4 books of New Testament, but less number of people know that it was also used for the message of Christ or message of salvation proclaimed or uttered by Christ. So there is a problem. Some say that the message conveyed by Christ was Injil or Evangelium, and others may make a condition or impose a condition, the message of salvation, not all the message. Well, we drop the condition of salvation, any divine message from Christ, any divine message proclaimed or uttered by Christ. In English-speaking countries, the Greek word Evangelion, which has once translated as gospel, was translated as good news or good news. Good news, G capital, N capital, or G small and N small. For example, Good News Bible, GNB, CEV, Contemporary English Version, and New Living Translation, NLT, change the word gospel by good news. The alleged reason is that the gospel is an old term which may not convey the accurate meaning to the modern readers. The shift towards good news is mainly a 20th or 21st century heresy in English translations. But German did not do this. They have not taken this as a problem, and they still write Evangelium for Greek Evangelion. This is the problem, and it must be noted. So there is a weakness in the alleged reason. Even modern English translators of New Testaments, who translate Greek Evangelion as good news, when in context of these books, keep the original word gospel when it comes to the title of the first 4 New Testament semi-biographies. For example, they do not translate good news according to Markus, but say good and use the archaic word gospel and translate as gospel according to Mark. That is the problem. So when the word evangelion is translated in the contents of New Testament, in the contents of the books of New Testament, these new translators translate it as good news, but for the books themselves they translate it as gospels, so their own reasoning weakens. This is a deliberate manipulation in translation. The reason is that the English speaking people face the question which gospel is referred in the books called Gospels in particular, and in the books of New Testament other than Gospel or Gospels. This might be something else. Well, in German, they did not face this problem, so they continued to keep the same word for the gospel as stated in the first four semi-biographies of New Testament and the rest of the books in New Testament. But English readers face the problem, so instead of stating the real reason, translators tried to change the translation. So this is the deliberate manipulation in the translation. The reason is that the English speaking people faced the question which gospel is referred in the books called Gospels in New Testament. This might be problematic. To keep people away, they changed the word gospel by a translation called good news. This worked, but when the same question was asked by German speaking people, there was no way to change the translation, and if the translation was changed, in the case they have anticipated that in German it will be a difficult thing to change the translation of the word. In Arabic scriptures, particularly Quran and the books of Sahih, the word Injil primarily referred to the divine message taught and preached by the Christ. Modern English translators began to distinguish between gospel and the good news. The first four books of the New Testament were called Gospels, but when the word gospel was referred in these books, they changed the word gospel as good news, the message preached by Christ. German remained uniform. Evangelium is used for the message and the title of the book, but in English modern translators changed everything. They made everything different. So for the titles of the first three semi-biographies of New Testament, they use the word gospels or gospels as plural, but for the word gospel referred in the book in these books, they changed it. So they change, they make a change, and they did not translate it with the word gospel, but replace it by the word good news. So why did they do such a thing? It is very important to be noted that they did it just to to hide the weakness that the Arabic word Injil corresponds to the message or the divine message which was delivered by the Christ to during his mystery, and not to the for these four books. This is the prime meaning of Injil, Evangelion or Evangelium in German, or Gospels, or gospel. So this is the thing. To hide this thing, it is deliberately done. We should try to understand the difference between gospel and good news. Well, whatsoever is the meaning of gospel or evangelion, we should not translate it as literally, but we should keep it as it is, or translate it by the word gospel, as we have seen that the German word for evangelion is evangelium, and it is used not only for the divine message which was preached and taught by the Christ himself, and also for, in the secondary meaning, also for the books of the first four books of the um, New Testament. So please note it down and try to understand the problem that Quran and Ahadith refers to the same Injil, that is the Evangelion of Greek, and not to the four semi biographies of New Testament. Please see the description as well.